Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for passing by. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you very much for watching my videos. You are greatly appreciated. Now today I'm going to talk about what's happening on social media with the entire Makerel versus Rosealee situation, but I'm not going to speak about it how you think I am. Now I'm just going to be open and candid with you guys while I do my hair, right? So we've seen wherein Makerel went on an interview. Basically, God, my eyelashes drooping. And Makerel went on an interview, right? And she was speaking. That's I think the walk and talk interview. And they asked her a question, why does she who does she dislike? And she said Rosealee, because Rosealee liked to speak on people's kids. And she spoke openly saying that her dislike is for Rosealee and World Dog and Switzerland and other persons. She gave vague reasons, but when it came to Rosealee, she was very specific in saying that Rosealee has a tendency to speak on people's kids and stuff like that and be disrespectful about people's children and stuff. And upon saying that, she went immediately disrespecting Rosalee's children. Rosealee caught wind of the interview and she decided to clap back at Makerel on her live and talk about her children, and yada yada, went from left to way left, and it was extremely disrespectful. It was dark, it was demonic. The things that were being said was just unbecoming of a woman, unbecoming of a mother. It was just unhealthy and in the most impure form ever. The things that were being said that Makerel was saying and also Rosealee was saying. Now persons are coming at Rosealee and she's basically saying that they're basically saying that Rosealee is wrong. Some are supporting Rosealee. Many are saying that Makerel is in the wrong because she shouldn't have went and spoke on Rosalee's child. Now here lies the other situation where Rosealee is saying that if you don't like her, do not speak on her. When you're asked, do not speak, because she went on her interview and she could have easily spoke on Makerel's situation, but she plead the fifth. She chose not to speak on it. Now Makerel could have done the same thing, but she didn't. And Rosealee saying that persons always speak about her child. It's as the first go-to argument whenever there's a disagreement between two or among many. But nobody sees that. Only when she claps back and decide that she's going to attack them or their children, then that's the time people are saying that, you know, she's wrong and she should not speak on people's children. And me guys, while I do my hair while I speak on this foolishness. Okay, so here's what's happening right now. As I told you repeatedly that these are the stereotypes, and I've spoke about Rosealee being the stereotype, the loudmouth mommy, you understand, the modern day loudmouth mommy woman who, you know, who is about that life. And I get into fine details, explicit details of it. I didn't speak on Makerel. Makerel is more like the joke, the joker, the laughing Sambo, the shook and jive Negro. Now, if my video is dragging, it's because I'm doing an editing while doing this video. She's the shook and jive Negro, the laughing Sambo, the one that you would take for a joke, the one that you will never take serious. Whenever you want a good laugh, that's a person that you would go to. That's what Makerel represents in the entire realm of the negative stereotype of black people. Reason being, that was what, because they were known to have disproportionate features and stuff like that, funny looking, where they have extremely large mouth, extremely large nose, extremely large eyes, and you know, they embodied it. They embodied because they were usually used to make a mockery of during post-slavery, and so they embodied it and start using it for the advantage where they would make money from it. You understand? From being shamed, for being bullied, for being laughed at, they would turn around and embody the joke themselves and make a lot of money and use it as their way of living. So Makerel would fit into the stereotype of the shook and jive Negro or the laughing Sambo. I'm not being disrespectful. This is what it is. You can go and do your own research, and then you will see that the argument that I come with is in fact true. However, remember when I told you guys that there's a distraction out there and these things are put out in the media to continue to perpetuate the negative stereotype of black people. So they continue to circulate them in the algorithm. So you find topics that are meaningful, topics that are wholesome by wholesome people will never see the light of day. They would center it or plug it in so no more than 500 persons see it. If it happens to reach 1,000, that's good. That's good, but they won't push it for any more. They will push it for like 2,000, the most, or 500 persons. You understand? And that would be the most that they would do. Otherwise, from that, they don't want a lot of persons to see it, because what you are saying is deviating from the stereotype. The reason the negative stereotype is continuously perpetuated in the media, it's because it serves to give a comfort to the race that they consider the ulterior race, or the ultimate race. So they want to give a sense of comfort to these type of people. So when you approach these people, or when they approach you, these are the things that you should pick out of them, of their character, because to them, black people function a specific way. To them, black people should be this and should be that. And if they step out of line and be some sort of intellectual, or act like they know something, or act like they have some sense, or they picked up on your behavioral pattern, then you are regarded as being problematic to them, or a troublemaker. And so they have to put you in squares and boxes so that they can get this atmosphere of comfort where they can do just about anything for their own selfish benefit, and you won't be able to tell the difference, because that's how they keep the wealth going in the white community. So that's the purpose of it. So Rosealee and Makerel being circulated, going viral because of this nastiness, is set. It's man design. It's man design. It was planned out for everything. Nobody's focusing on the United States Secretary of State who visited the island. What was his purpose? People are trying to find out what was the purpose of the United States Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, visiting the island. What was his reason? What's the motive? The information is not privy. The public is not privy to the information as yet, have no access. There isn't any form of information being given to the public as yet as to why this man, who is very powerful, he's a Cuban-born American national now, and he's the Secretary of State. He's in an extremely powerful position, and persons want to know what is taking place. But these things are used as a major distraction. Remember, so many persons have also spoken out, not only me, Queen Ifrika recently, have spoken that these things are major distraction, and are you guys going to continuously be guinea pigs and use to create the major distraction for what's really taking place behind closed door? The Makerel, the Jaden, the Rosealee, all these type of people continuously show up on your FYP on social media, and you're on them all day, every day, watching their every move and the foolishness that they go on with, without realizing that there's something much more grave that's taking place, possibly sinister. We don't know. It's taking place before our very eyes, but we are also caught up with their foolery all day, every day, that we don't even pay attention to the things that are most important. And this is what people are concerned about. What is the reason for the United States Secretary of State to visit the island? We saw where in Antigua and Barbuda has some sort of restriction on them, travel restriction or visa restriction. Haiti also, I don't know if St. Kitts is in it, or other English-speaking Caribbean island, but persons want to know what is taking place with Jamaica. Is it an ultimatum that Jamaica is being given? And it's not just about a travel restriction or travel, not USA visa. It's not just about that. The rabbit hole is extremely deep. There could be more to the situation, more than what meets the eye. I'm sorry. And it's possible that there is something else that's taking place. It's possible that there's something else that's taking place that people want to know. And it's really deep. And it's as grave. We're hearing information circulating that there's going to be a World War II or World War III, and persons want to know, are they safe? So people in Jamaica have their right to be concerned. So people in Jamaica are within their right to be concerned with what's taking place in Jamaica and what was the purpose of the United States Secretary of State visiting the island. These are things that are extremely grave, and we are being distracted all day, every day with the low vibration and the nastiness that's taking place, the degenerate behavior that's constantly circulating on social media. But this is also what happens when you have no power. When you are going by someone who has power, they're going to dictate what takes place in your life, what they want the media to see of you, because Jamaica do not have its own social media giant or social media platform where we control everything. We have our own search engine, perhaps we have our own social media platform. you understand, where people can go in as a Jamaican community, and persons who want to be a part of it, they can be there, but the preference will be given to Jamaica, same as with many other social media giants like Facebook and Instagram. And so it's only fair and natural that we would want to know what's taking place behind the scenes when it comes to these grave things. You understand? We want to know if there's an ultimatum, if there's some sort of restriction, some stipulation, some ultimatum that Jamaican is being given, and we aren't aware of it. So I wasn't going to speak on the topic because I do not have time for that type of foolishness. Like I said, when I speak on these things, there's usually a moral behind my message, and it certainly does not center around getting into fine details of who said what and how nasty their mouth is. These are full-grown women. Their behavior is very unbecoming. They know exactly what they're doing. They are spiking things because they get money from it. They get gifts, and you know, for money, people are just doing a whole lot of things that they're really not supposed to do. And like I always say, it's a very sad day for the Black community and for the Jamaican space on social media. A lot of them don't even know if they're going left or right, if they're going forward or backward, if they're going up and down. And it's just one of those diabolic things that people engage in, the maniacal behavior, and people embrace it and think that it's funny. There's nothing funny about going in on children. There's nothing funny about disrespecting yourself, talking down on other persons, other children who are very much innocent, have nothing to do with social media space, aren't even on social media. And for you to come out, both women to come out and be saying these type of things is just extremely sad. And they aren't the only ones. There are so many other persons. I saw Unforgettable K that I did a video on with her and Urban getting into it. She tried to calm Rosealee down, tried to get some sort of understanding. However, she was somewhat ill-informed. She went over and tried to get some information on Makerel. She wasn't having it, and she just blurted out that both of them are terribly wrong. They're very disrespectful. They have absolutely no right to be speaking on each other's children and disrespecting the children because they're not on social media. And you know, it, like I said, this is what happens. It's beyond them. Rosealee doesn't know, Makerel don't know. I know. And so I'm giving that information to you, that this is what they do to the Black community at all times. Remember in 2005 when social media just came out, and then you have all these Black men uploading video channels. There was a Fearless 2005, there was the Tommy Sotomayor, there was the J something. So many of these guys, they were anti-Black women, and they had so many videos that they were like exposing Black women, the advice show. So many of them around at the time were just going in on Black women, and they choose the women who are living the most deviant life and practices and use them as a moniker or as a beacon or as a stamp to say this is a typical behavior of Black women, and then they were just blasting it on social media all day, every day, and say this is why we like white women, this is why white women are better than Black women, all these anti-Black women rhetoric. Now it has really sunk to an all-time low where it's not just about uploading videos about Black women or Black men. Now it's about, let me see how best I can drag or I can tear down this Black man, how best I can tear down this Black woman. Nothing is about facts. Nothing is about proof. Nothing is about evidence anymore. Everything is about who can be the nastiest, who can be the most reject, who can be seen or showcased as the most reject in the community. And it's all-time war with Black women and Black men, and it's just nasty, deplorable. It's anti-Black community. It's counterproductive. It is low. It will never get higher than that unless we have a change in mind, focus on things that are extremely important. But we have to admit, based on these things, we have to admit that Black men and Black women simply do not like each other. Simply don't like each other. If you come to that conclusion, then you can move forward. But if you refuse to acknowledge it and believe that, okay, there's some sort of lightness, when we get into the microcosm of the entire lifestyle or the dichotomy of the relations between men and women in the Black community, it's absolutely nothing good. It's deplorable. There's nothing positive that comes from it. It's like a deep, dark alley that has garbage, that has debris, and you're trying to find diamonds somewhat down there. It's just not worth it. You understand? And when we say that, if you can admit that you guys just simply do not like each other, then I think that there can be some sort of boundaries, limitation, restrictions, and also some sort of respect going forward, because you know that, okay, I'm not going to rely on her or I'm not going to rely on him based on their behavior, but in moving forward, there's some sort of understanding where we know that, okay, the furthest we'll go is over there. We're not going any further because we don't really like each other or cater for each other that much. You understand me? I think at some point in time, you guys really have to admit that you really don't like each other, and it's the best that you can get. Everything that is being done, it's being done indubitably. You guys are not doing anything with effort of love, of respect, of care, of trust, of understanding, proper communication, love. You understand me? It's not about that. It's all about who can hate each other the most, or who can advertise to the world that we prefer another race over this one because our own is just the worst. That's basically what's taking place. And that's what you guys are promoting all day, every day. You understand me? So these are the things that are taking place right now. And it's all being circulated. Man design. As I always say, social media is what? Social experiment. And the entire situation is just to prove or to show how people within a certain demographic, and also to prove, sorry guys, I'm lapsing. It's also to prove how people in a certain demographic think, behave, and function. And so this era is like a test era. It doesn't matter if Facebook have been around since 2002 or YouTube 2005 or Instagram 2010, 11, or TikTok 2017, 18. It doesn't matter when they came about. The fact of the matter is that we're still in a trial area, and we're getting forward to where one day there's going to be some sort of restriction. There are certain things that you simply will not see that are vital to you. Not only that, there are certain things you will not have access to within certain demographic, within certain region, based on your behavior, based on how you choose to portray yourself, based on what they program you to think, to behave, and to function, thinking that is normalcy. You understand? They want to put a restriction, but they want to program it to make it seem that this is how all persons behave within that space. And that's why I'm saying to you guys that you have to be above the situation and seek for things that are more important, things that are productive, things that contribute to nation building, and focus on it and make it a part of your everyday life. Because we want a society where changes can come, where it benefits us Jamaicans, from the very handcart vendor to a top CEO. It benefits us as a nation of people. At some point in time, we have to think about each other and not just what's trending, what's just moving forward, the gossiping, the debauchery, the maniacal behavior. We have to move forward, move away from that. At some point, you have to cut your attention span that you're giving to that, or your focus that you're giving to it. Get ADHD from that. You understand me? Let it not supersede 30 minutes if you decide to watch the gossip. I watch it sometimes and I will comment and I'll move on. I'm not sitting down giving it more than 30 minutes. I'm not going into an hour, into 2, because I'm going to start agitate like I'm breaking out in hives. You understand? Because it affects my ability to function. It affects the energy that is around me, because I know that's not what I absorb from the universe, negative space or energy. And so that's what I'm trying to get a lot of young people in society to think, and not to think, to see and to understand. It's as serious as it gets. Persons are also talking about world war that's coming. Guys, it's not time to focus on Makerel foolishness and Rosealee foolishness. Come on. It's time to think about things, like I said, that are quite grave, that will affect you. There are things that affect the economy, and it will affect you, your ability to purchase, basic commodities, food, toiletries. You understand? These are serious things that you need not to ignore, that you need not to be sitting down all day, every day, paying attention to the foolishness that is on social media. Yes, it's good for entertainment, but limit your entertainment. The social media, they're trying very hard to get black people in a bubble, in the black community, and stop thinking that, oh, it's not black people. Yes, it is, because all the function and all the things, all the trends, they use the black community as test lab, test rat guinea pigs. If you go research I think it's John Coleman of the Tavistock Institute, these are people who do their research on the trends in the black community. What you're wearing, that's what they want you to wear. Your jewelry, your hairstyle, you know, all the things that are taking place. Men clothes, men, how they talk about women, how you guys see women. They want you to think that way. Because when you think that way, you're going to approach women accordingly. You're going to think that women are just what? Piece of meat. And so you approach them until you catch a charge. You go into the prison make money, da-da-da. You see, that's how deep the rabbit hole is. So guys, that's why I said you have to come out of the matrix. You ought to come out of the matrix and come into the real world, and know that these things are just mere distraction. Mere what? Distraction. There's some something more serious that's taking place ahead, and you guys need to tune in and log out of the matrix. But that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I could come out the powder that was in my hair. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your day, and may God bless you. Bye bye.